Today, on Be Something Wonderful, this closes the wanting gap for any and all desires. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big video today, huge session yesterday. This is with a client that I spoke with just after the new year. And there were two areas that she said that she was struggling with. One was with her relationship with her boyfriend, that they are separated and that it just feels like they're distant, right? They weren't seeing each other anymore. And before that, she said, it just felt that there was distance between us. So I want to get into this because then it did end up in them being separated. And the other thing had to do with her job. She was in sort of a day job, or she called it her day job, and also had an online business and wanted to move fully into the online business. But she felt stuck in the day job. And in both of these areas, we talked about the idea that she creates the gap. Hear this. She creates the gap between what she wants, what she desires, and its fulfillment. And that gap is created by our focus on the thoughts and feelings and the inner thoughts and feelings about that, what we need to do to get that desire, and the outer conditions that seem to appear, that seem to be in our way. I want to show this and then show you where she moved to. So we're going to get back to this. But the idea is that you have the wanting, desiring, and an ideal outcome, your wish. There's love there, right? You love that wish. You want that wish. You're already in the love of that wish. And then you have the fulfillment of your desired reality, the wish fulfilled, the assumption of fulfillment, where it manifests in 3D reality there. But then in the middle here, we've called this the messy middle. You have your thoughts and feelings about it. You have the people, events, and circumstances. This is the non-fulfillment gap. It's the experience, hear it, all of that is just the experience of separation. Feeling separated from what you want and the fulfillment of it. Feeling separate, wanting something, and feeling separate from it. It's the experience of separation. You create that fulfillment gap, right? You assume and believe, not believe, you don't have your natural innate power to close that imagined gap. Do you see it? You're not relying on that natural innate God power within you. You want to close that gap by resolving those thoughts and feelings, feeling better about it, thinking differently about it, and then changing the people, events, and circumstances versus moving to the fulfillment of it and allowing your natural ability to close that gap, your natural ability to close the separation. Right? Because there is no separation. You create that gap. It's this I am, I love that desire. I am that desire. Then you have this experience of I am not. And it separates you from that I am that desire, the fulfillment of it. Do you see it? The feeling, you go back and forth between the feeling that it's coming, right? You might even imagine it within and have that feeling, well, it's coming. I feel that, and you're happy. But then you're all of a sudden down the next day and you have the feeling that it's not coming, that it's not happening. Do you see it? You're stuck in this middle, trying to resolve all this thing, trying to feel better about that it's coming, right? So I want to hit this because what happened with her? Tom, I closed the gap. This is what this session was about. She's now with her boyfriend. They're talking. She goes, it just feels new. It feels fresh. Because it is. It's a new reality. She closed the gap, right? She was focusing on non-fulfillment. She was focusing on things that made it feel herself separated from him and separated from that relationship that she wanted, right? She was trying to resolve all those thoughts and feelings, trying to push conditions around, right? Feeling distant from her boyfriend manifested in separation. She created the gap. Right? Trapped between thoughts and feelings that things are getting better, and then seeing conditions that it's not moving, or in her mind that it's not better. Do you see it? And so she's going back and forth, the thoughts and feelings that my online business is unfolding, to feeling stuck in my day job. And now her online business is thriving. She has left her day job. Right? She's doing all of this. So none of that was reality. She goes, oh my God. This was from her because we talked about this idea back, I guess, in February and January. None of that was reality. She goes, oh my God, none of that was reality. In other words, that non-fulfillment gap wasn't reality. Your thoughts and feelings are not reality. Right? They are expressions of your assumptions. Do you hear it? Of what you're assuming about your reality, right? There are thoughts and feelings about reality. They're not reality, right? I made up my assumption of a thriving relationship and we talked about this idea that she could imagine that online business thriving and a relationship thriving because it is. Right? You can close that gap by trying not to get tangled up in the middle. I want to show this because I created a really powerful lesson. Very excited about this today. Your thoughts and feelings are not reality. In other words, they're not real. They're not reality. Yes, they're real experiences. So I'm not telling you not to think them, and I'm not telling you not to feel them. Think them, feel them, have them. But then let them go because they're not reality. Only things that don't change are reality, like love, right? They are manifestations. Hear this. These inner conditions are manifestations of your assumptions and beliefs about reality. Hear it again. Your thoughts and feelings are not reality. They are manifestations, those inner conditions, of your assumptions and beliefs about reality. It was her assumptions and beliefs that she went from. And she went from the highest level of I am, her highest ideal, what she really wants. She wants to thrive in that I am, thrive in her relationships, thrive in her online business, because I am only knows thriving. God only knows thriving, not surviving, not struggling, none of that, right? People, events, and circumstances are not reality. Those outer conditions, here we go. They are manifestations of your thoughts and feelings about your assumptions. So your thoughts and feelings are not reality. They're manifestations of your assumptions and beliefs about reality. The people, event, and circumstances, these outer conditions, are not reality. They're manifestations of your thoughts and feelings about your assumptions. Wow. That's powerful. Guys, let's hit this. Have your thoughts. Feel your feelings. Don't run from any of that. Don't deny any of that. Right? You are only ever feeling what you're thinking, but stop confusing them with reality. Stop identifying them with them as who you are. Stop confusing them with I am. See the people, events, and circumstances. Acknowledge and accept them as one quantum possibility out of an infinite quantum field of possibilities. Then let them go by letting them be. Do you hear it? Let them go by letting them be. As you let them be, they go back into that field of quantum possibilities to be potential again, right? So have your thoughts, have your feelings. You're only ever feeling what you're thinking, but stop confusing them with reality. See the people, events, and circumstances, the outer conditions. Those are the inner and the outer conditions. Acknowledge them, accept them as one quantum possibility. Then let them go, let them be, right? Do you hear it? Letting go is not effort. It's not struggle. It's letting them be. Have your thoughts about those outer conditions. Feel your feelings about those thoughts. Now we're talking about the outer conditions. None of it is reality. They're manifestations of reality. All of it. They are real experiences of reality. I'm not denying your experience. It's real to you. I get it. But they are not reality. Right? Inner conditions of thoughts and feelings are not reality. Right? They are your assumptions. They are reflections about reality. They are reflecting your assumptions, right? They are reflecting your assumptions. Inner conditions of thoughts and feelings are not reality. They're reflecting your assumptions. They're a mirror of your assumptions. They're expressing your assumptions. Outer conditions of people, events, and circumstances are not reality. They are reflecting, like the dual mirror of reality, your thoughts and feelings about reality. Big point here. Inner conditions of thoughts and feelings are not reality. They are reflecting your assumptions about reality. They're expressing your assumptions about reality, your beliefs about reality, right? And the outer conditions of people, events, and circumstances is not reality. They're reflecting, expressing the dual mirror reality, your thoughts and feelings about reality. Wow. Such a big one today. So stop working on your thoughts and honoring your feelings. We had this discussion. I think back in January, she pointed it out, right? That this whole idea, this whole idea of honoring your feelings. Feel your feelings, but don't honor them. Don't put them on a pedestal. Don't start dissecting them and creating this whole identity with them, right? Just stop working on them, but feel them for sure. Don't ignore them. Feel what you feel and then let it go and keep letting it go, right? Instead, think of them, feel them, and then let them go. Let them be. I mentioned this in yesterday's powerful video for the membership channel when we talked about stop denying. It's not about denying your senses. Your senses are the very mechanism that you perceive reality. Your senses, remember what we said yesterday. You don't perceive reality with your senses, you create it. So stop ignoring at that. Instead, let loose and let him go, like Lazarus, like Jesus commanded with Lazarus. Lazarus was resurrected, but was still in his grave clothes. The grave clothes of trying to figure through thoughts and beliefs, trying to fix the middle, fix the conditions. Loose him, and let him go. Loose him. He was bound, right? He had something over his eyes. His hands were bound. His feet were bound. Stop trying to change, resolve, and deal with inner and outer conditions and manifestations. Trying to hold onto the good and get rid of the bad. Whether those thoughts and feelings are good or bad in your judgment, and they're only in your judgment, or those conditions are judged good or bad, stop trying to hold on to any of them. Right? Because when you try to hold on to the good, that's implying that the bad's possible. You're calling forth the bad by trying to hold on to the good thoughts and the good conditions. Do you see it? You're waiting for that other shoe to drop. Right? Instead, see them, acknowledge them, accept them, but don't agree with them as your reality. Hear this. This is such a big point. See them, acknowledge them, accept them, all of that. The inner thoughts and feelings and the outer conditions. Inner conditions of thoughts and feelings, the outer conditions, right? Of people, events, and circumstances. But don't agree with them as your reality. Don't identify with them as your reality. Don't see them as who you are, right? Wow, that's a big distinction. And Jesus says it in Matthew 6:20. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in or steal. Go from that highest assumption of I am. Create from there, right? That's the treasure you want. Not even if your thoughts are quote good thoughts, right? And you don't have to hold on to any of them. You don't have to store those up. You already are. You, by definition, you're good and very good and naturally good and naturally love and peace and joy, right? Focus your awareness and attention on the assumption of what you love. Align with your higher idea or ideal of who you really are, your heart's desire. Right? Who you really are is your heart's desire. I am is your heart's desire. Right? And then you can condition it. So thoughts and feelings and the manifested outer conditions, those inner conditions and outer conditions, keep you trapped or bound to, like Lazarus. Right? Lazarus was bound by those grave clothes. Right? Lazarus was bound in those grave clothes. Keep you trapped in the process of trying to think and feel better thoughts, trying to fix and manipulate outer conditions, or even inner conditions. Trying to work on your thoughts, trying to honor them, honor your feelings, trying to fix the outer conditions. You're reacting to both inner and outer conditions is an attempt to compensate, hear this, for your false limiting assumptions and beliefs. And what do we mean by that? By false or limiting assumptions and beliefs. All beliefs are limiting by nature, and even assumptions. They're not your true or heart's desire. They no longer serve you. They might have served you at one time, but they're no longer what you want, no longer what you desire. The mother of all limiting beliefs is that you are separate from what you want. Hear this. That's really the core of everything. that you are separate from what you want. You want something and you feel separate from it. That creates the gap. That creates the non-fulfillment gap, right? That's it right there. That's the mother of all limiting beliefs. And then again, back to this that I wanted to revisit. You've got the wanting and desiring an ideal outcome. You have the wish, and you love that wish. You want that wish, but immediately you move from loving that wish to feeling separate from it. You create the experience. You have thoughts and feelings about it, right? You see outer conditions and inner conditions that point you to non-fulfillment, right? And maybe you do feel good about it, and you're feeling like it's coming. But then you look out and you see it's not there yet, and so you go back and forth. Instead, move from here to here. Close that gap immediately to the fulfillment. Go to that end and stay there, as Neville Goddard would talk about. You assume and believe you don't have your... Here's the key. Here's what creates this experience of this non-fulfillment gap. Just like my client. She assumed and believed she didn't have the natural innate power, the natural ability to close the imagined gap. That all she had to do is to focus on that thriving relationship. Put her awareness on that. Assume it. Assume that thriving online business. And that natural power, that inner authority within you will close the gap. Right? We'll close it. Right? I am to I am. I am not is a creation. It's created by those bogus thoughts and feelings. Right? Those outer conditions that are always changing. Right? This really does, guys. Because remember, it's coming from that feeling separate, right? You're feeling good in one moment, fulfilled, maybe, right? Bliss, as one of the people on the channel said. But then you're feeling the non-fulfillment or the fear or the frustration the next moment. That shows that you're in the middle trying to resolve all that. Stop trying to resolve what's not real. None of that's real. They're real experiences. But they're not the reality of your assumption. They're not the reality of fulfillment. They're not the reality of you being one with what you want. That's the reality. This closes the gap of wanting. It closes the gap for all desires, once and for all. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. We have a Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. We have a Facebook page at Be Something Wonderful, Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, or just go to our website anytime at tomkearin.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com. Creators, with great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, we'll see you soon.